tranquil shores of Lake Victoria in Entebbe, where a refreshing breeze blends with the bustling waves, stands the scent of orphaned and rescued wild species. This is the Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center, Uwec, popularly known as Entebbe Zoo. The 72-acre piece of land is home to over 200 species of carnivores, hoofstock, primates, and birds. It is also a place for recreation.
Right now, the Wildlife Center has been turned into a statutory body by an act of parliament with the major role and responsibility as well as mandate of carrying out conservation education in Uganda, rescue and rehabilitation of wildlife, captive breeding. At the moment, we are carrying out various wildlife rescues that come up as a result of the human-wildlife conflict that happens around protected areas. So the wildlife or animals that are caught up in the puzzle of the human-wildlife conflict, we rescue them and bring them to the zoo in Entebbe, rehabilitate them, and then take them back into the wild to give them a second chance to live. Those which are in bad shape in terms of health and cannot make it on their own in the wild, we retain them at the center here in Entebbe and rehabilitate them and carry out conservation education using them as ambassadors for those that are in the wild.
I'm by the names of Busura Steven, a zookeeper. I work with hoofstocks and carnivores. Generally, we work with the big cats, and we are here to look at the cats, the lions. So we are here to see where these lions came from, as to why they are here, and the behaviors in captive management, and the efforts we are putting towards lion conservation. Yes, so far here at the center, we have 8 lions. So 7 are found at this lion exhibit, then 1 is still kept at the vet unit. It's called Sophia.
As you start the tour around the zoo, you are greeted by a thunderous roar that vibrates into echoes. For someone that has never been an inch close to the wild, it is so fierce and the chills are indescribable. It is one of the big fives. It is 10-year-old Letaba. He is the king here and reigns supreme. His Zulu name means happiness, and he has indeed brought happiness to the zoo as he has fathered 3 lions so far. Like any other head of the family, Letaba is very protective and territorial. He is part of the pride at Uwec that is comprised of 7 other lions. Bisa is another. She exudes intimidation, codenamed Jaja, a Luganda word meaning grandmother. This ferocious queen has blessed the zoo for 11 years. She was brought in from Paradise Wildlife Park in the UK.
She really doesn't want to associate with people. She's very tough. So Bisa was got here when she came here when she's 3 years. She found the late lion we lost in 2014, Chibonge. So that's where they had courtship with her, and she gave us 2 lionesses, Maria and Flavia.
Maria, who behaves exactly like her mother Bisa, has since 2012 blazed the zoo with 3 lions, Paradise, Zuli, and Africa.
She likes barking to keep her being around, so she's very mild, territorial, and very aggressive. Although she's sighted with some complications, she doesn't move well.
Zara, unlike her mother, is very naughty and friendly. She loves being stroked and occasionally comes to the fence for it. That is greatly attributed to the fact that she was originally raised in a home.
She is really good. Before coming here, she was actually being taken care of as a home cat from Paradise Wildlife Park. People used to sleep with her, so she grew up knowing people.
Zuri also doesn't entertain nonsense, especially from those trespassing into her turf. This roof cat keeps herself alienated from the rest, and they are now familiar with her ways.
Zuri likes provoking Zara, although we haven't integrated them, but Zuri doesn't want Zara to join the group. she's a kind of a lady who is also very stubborn and aggressive.
And then Paradise. Like a little princess, loved by all in her kingdom, Paradise is the pride's favorite. She is the most sociable of them all. Like his father, Africa is an introvert. This formidable heir to the throne is very aggressive and enjoys isolation as if to mark a boundary that he is future king. It is clear that he is grooming himself to take over after his father Letaba.
Africa is more aggressive. He normally backs to the keepers when they're around, so he's very territorial. He normally isolates himself from the group. He really shows that he's going to grow up and he's going to take care of the family.
Sophia, she came in from Murchison Falls National Park after being rescued from a pit at the age of only 2 years. Sophia is very welcoming, mostly because she was hand-raised. At 3 years of age, they are ready for mating, and after a gestation period of 110 days, cubs are born. These suckle regularly for 6 to 7 months, and for the next 2 to 3 years, they will remain with their mother before starting hunting instincts.
When it gives birth, the mother becomes more aggressive, very territorial to the cubs. The mother will look after the cubs. If you look into the wilderness, it will keep on changing dens so that it protects its cubs from being attacked from other lions.
Even in the wild, there are jealousy lovers. And yes, the cat fights too. Looks like there are no females out there of any kind that are comfortable sharing a man.
During courtship, when the male is with the female, maybe if Letaba is with Bisa, so Zara would feel more, would get that anger. So they will really have some aggressive fights. But of course, the man is the one to decide. So if a man is in need of Bisa, he will come and beat up Zara. So if they are in mating, if they have left you out, you are not allowed to come.
In the den, 2 concrete gravestones are noticeable. I am told they belong to Salama and Chibonge, who died in 2002 and 2014 respectively, and as former kings of the jungle, they were accorded a decent burial. Many of us would rather stay as far away from the wild as possible. One is left to wonder from where Stephen Busura, the keeper, derives this patience and passion.
Remember, these are wild animals, so it isn't easy to work with them. But because of the passion we have and the great efforts we put in, so we really have to be patient. These are wild animals, they don't talk. So we have to really interpret what they want. So we have to be there and, you have to take them as if they are babies. You pamper them. If you want a lion to cross, when you normally here we do have integration processes. So this is a process where we integrate a new arrival into a group. Yes. So these lions being together, it's not that you just come and you put the lions there. They would fight and we might lose one. So we normally have what we call an integration process, where lions, we normally integrate them and then we make a pride. Yes. So if you see, now we are recently integrating these baby cubs with these adult females and the male. So we have successfully attained the integration with the Bisa and Letaba. So we are remaining with Zara. So you can see it's not an easy process. So we are really patient. We have to be calm and, and we have to be safety conscious. Yes, when you're working in the big cats complex, you have to assure that your 2 keepers in the section, at least 2 keepers, so that if you forget a door, one reminds you.
For the most part of the day, lions are asleep. What then makes these cats one of the most successful hunters in the wild?
Lions, actually, they are very active for most of the times 2 to 3 hours. So most of their times they are resting. So they are inactive during the day. So these are nocturnal animals. Nocturnal animals, these are animals that are very active at night. They really look out for what they want to eat. And they are known to have a good night vision. That's why they are good, successful hunters during the night. They really have that good eyesight that really sights out the prey and they get it.
As our mandate states, we would love to be the leading conservation education center in East, West, and Central Africa. But looking after these big cats comes with challenges, mostly financial constraints.
They eat a lot, therefore we have to buy meat every day.
In a day, these lions consume 116 kgs, which is 1.3 million shillings. And per month, that is approximately 36 million shillings.
But also building and maintaining their enclosure, where they sleep, where they stay. It is very, very, very costly because you have to put doors, different doors. You have to open those doors using levers.
Besides that, there are power lines that separate the hyenas from the lions and also bar the lions from coming close to the fence. The lions often break them and they are very costly to replace. In addition, these lions at times develop health concerns and require a vet doctor.
We also spend money on medication. Some of them fall sick, and we make sure that we have doctors on site. We have vet doctors who are always around.
It is a known fact that like all other animals in the wild, a lion plays a big role in the ecosystem. And if not protected, we face impending disaster.
Lions are interesting animals where the ecosystem cannot survive without them because they reduce populations of other animals, which, if not reduced, there could be problems in the environment, including competition, diseases, and so many others.
The majestic beasts in the zoo stand a better chance with life expectancy than their free mates.
Lions in captivity, they live for long. They can go to up to 19 years to 20 years.
This is because these lions are protected and hence no rivalry fatalities. They are fed and so do not hunt. And they receive medical care whenever ill. Besides not being privileged this much, the lions in the wild are at war with humans. The latest incident was in 2018, where Uganda lost 11 lions in a space of 4 months.
Notably, we have seen that in areas like Hamukungu in Queen Elizabeth, the lions are being poisoned or they are being killed because of the human-wildlife conflicts that are there, where the lions eat people's livestock and people retaliate by killing them or poisoning them. And yet, it is all issues of misunderstandings where the humans have encroached upon the lands where the lions should be, and the lions also have no choice but to survive on that.
It is for such reasons that Uwec is trying its best to involve the public in appreciating wildlife.
Our outreach programs involve the community and the schools in Uganda. And our on-site programs are here at the center, where we also do a lot of conservation education to the people who visit.
For us to achieve results, there has to be concerted effort. Uwec should not carry this great responsibility alone because it is for the good of generations to come.
We would like to see our children and grandchildren have a look at these great God's creatures so that they can learn about them physically, so that we can avert effects of climate change. It is all our responsibility. I would like, therefore, to invite the general public, the private sector, to work with us in terms of raising funds to take care of the orphaned wildlife and wild animals that we do rescue, to carry out conservation education programs on site here in Entebbe, but also in the outreach when we meet the community.
Support in donations and sponsorships will go a long way to help Uwec conserve nature, thereby contributing to the development of this pearl of Africa, Uganda.